I'm here today at the Bayerischer Hof Hotel in Munich at the Munich Security Conference, where it's been almost entirely about Ukraine. And three quick points about the situation in Ukraine and relations with Russia. The first is that the intelligence seems to point overwhelmingly that an attack on Ukraine is imminent. The US president said this yesterday from the US. But speakers here, from Kamala Harris to the British Prime Minister to others, give credence to the intel that the order for invasion has already been given. No particular intel has been shared, but of course there is abundant evidence that this is plausible, from 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border to the messages and signals coming out of the Kremlin. So we should know in the coming days, even in the coming hours, whether that's the case or not. The second core message has been transatlantic unity. In 2020, the last face-to-face version of this edition was held under the title Westlessness, this idea that the West was declining, that it did not exist, that we were living through a transatlantic rift. Well, in this edition, the West seems to be back. There has been a lot of coherence and coordination in the messages being given by the German government, the British government, the US government, and US officials. Now, it remains to be seen what will happen if indeed that invasion of Ukraine takes place and whether that unity will hold, because for the time being, that unity is relatively cheap. It will become very costly when sanctions need to be leveled on Russia. And the cost of that will be asymmetric. Some countries, like Germany, for example, will suffer significantly when it comes to energy supply and exports to Russia. Their economic interlinkages are much more significant than other countries, including, for example, the US. The third key topic of discussion here has been China and China's take on the Ukrainian crisis. The Chinese foreign minister spoke yesterday here, saying that all of the countries in the world are sovereign, independent, and that their territorial integrity should be protected. But only a couple of days before, the Chinese government had stated that they did not support NATO expansion eastwards, which to some extent is in fact saying that countries are not sovereign when it comes to deciding their alliance memberships or how they manage the alliance they belong to. So there's an overarching question regarding Chinese foreign policy and its linkage to Russia. And I'll end on this. This all speaks to a much, much broader trend, which is the questioning of the international liberal architecture. And Ursula von der Leyen mentioned here the rise of illiberalism and of anti-democratic powers and how they're challenging the rules-based order in different areas, including Ukraine. That is a broader debate. I am sure will be the focus of discussion in coming editions of the Munich Security Conference and in many, many other gatherings on diplomacy and security around the world. So thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.